COVID-19 vaccine. Johnson & Johnson vaccine can be used again in the U.S. The Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine can now be administered again in the United States. On April 23, 2021, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, announced that they were lifting the 10-day pause on the vaccine after a thorough safety investigation into the rare side effect of blood clots. This video brought to you by HealthyRN Ways, the channel that talks about the COVID-19 pandemic, video posting every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. To see my other videos, see the link at the end of this video. The official decision came about 2 hours after an advisory committee to the CDC recommended lifting the pause without any new restrictions on who can get the vaccine. In a joint news release, the organizations concluded that the available data show that the vaccine's known and potential benefits outweigh its known and potential risks in individuals 18 years of age and older. Vaccine safety systems are working. We identified exceptionally rare events out of millions of doses of the Janssen COVID-19 administered, and we paused to examine them more carefully. We will continue to watch all signals closely as more Americans are vaccinated. While this is good news for COVID-19 vaccine supply in the U.S., some committee members involved in the decision expressed that they would have preferred that the resumption came with clearer guidance about who is most at risk for the rare side effect and what the alternative options are. Why was the vaccine paused? The specific risk investigated during the pause involved 6 reports of cerebral venous sinus thrombosis, CVST, a blood clot that prevents blood from draining out of the brain, paired with low blood platelet counts, thrombocytopenia. The two conditions are being referred to as thrombosis-thrombocytopenia syndrome, TTS. All 6 cases occurred among women between the ages of 18 and 48. They developed symptoms 6 to 13 days after receiving the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. During the pause, the FDA and CDC evaluated vaccine side effect reports that had been submitted to the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, VAERS. They also reviewed medical literature and compared reactions to the AstraZeneca vaccine, which is authorized for use in other countries and similar in design to Johnson & Johnson. The review revealed 9 other cases of TTS within 15 days of vaccination with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine in the U.S., bringing the total to 15 cases. All of the TTS cases were in women between the ages of 18 and 59. The review showed that the incidence of TTS is still extremely rare, 15 cases out of 8 million administered doses. Health officials say that the risk of experiencing the side effect is very low. The pause also gave the FDA and CDC the opportunity to reach out to healthcare providers across the country to discuss what these adverse events look like and how to treat them. Unlike other types of blood clots, including blood clots caused by birth control, which have received much attention over the past 2 weeks as a point of comparison, CVST can't be treated with blood thinners because of the associated low blood platelet counts seen in these patients. The CDC and FDA are advising Johnson & Johnson vaccine recipients who develop any or all of the following symptoms within 3 weeks of vaccination to contact a healthcare provider: severe headache, abdominal pain, leg pain, shortness of breath. Vaccination sites can begin administering the Johnson & Johnson vaccine again as soon as possible. Currently, there are about 10 million J&J doses available in the US. On April 20, 2021. The European Medicines Association also lifted a pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, moving forward with a new warning label. The only change from before the pause involves a revised fact sheet for healthcare providers and a revised fact sheet for vaccine recipients and caregivers. The fact sheet includes information about the recently identified risk. Prior to decision, some experts wondered whether the Johnson & Johnson vaccinations would resume in all groups, or if women of reproductive age, who were most affected by TTS, would still be encouraged to seek out Pfizer or Moderna vaccines instead, once available. In the UK, where AstraZeneca's vaccine, which has also been linked to rare blood clots, is available to anyone 18 to 29 years old, a different vaccine brand is offered when possible. while the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, ACIP, seems to have considered this approach in the U.S., ultimately, the J&J vaccine will still be available to all adults. There is no problem with the continued availability of this vaccine, if we just make a blanket recommendation knowing the risks that seem to have biologic possibility and severity. We have to have stronger language and make sure people are informed appropriately, citing frustration with the lack of guidance about other vaccine options for people who fall into the most affected age group. The recommendation is the lack of any kind of guidance from the authority. This is an age group most at risk for TTS, that is getting this vaccine predominantly to save other people's lives and morbidity, not their own. We have a responsibility that they know this, and if they choose to be vaccinated with this anyhow, we want to respect that choice. We haven't chosen to put up front that this is unique, it is clustered and it is almost certainly related to the vaccine, and there are options. The damage already done. While the FDA and CDC emphasize that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is safe and effective, all of the buzz the pause caused and the serious nature of the side effects, however rare, have affected how people feel about the vaccine. The negative news about side effects comes alongside growing reports of Johnson & Johnson vaccine manufacturing issues at a plant in Baltimore, Maryland. The rates are especially worrisome among the vaccine hesitant, over half of whom reported becoming more hesitant as a result of the TTS news. Encouraging those who are hesitant to get the vaccine is crucial to achieving herd immunity. We need at least 70% of the population to get fully vaccinated to curb the pandemic. A single-dose COVID-19 vaccine that does not require extremely cold temperatures for storage is an extremely useful tool for boosting vaccination rates and getting us closer to herd immunity, especially in hard-to-access areas. But people have to be willing to take it. CDC data shows that there is still plenty of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines available for those who prefer them, because not all vaccine sites stock multiple COVID-19 vaccine brands. It may take some shopping around to get the dose you want, when you want it. The FDA and CDC have lifted the pause on the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine in the United States. Investigators were able to confirm that the combination of blood clots and low blood platelet counts after vaccination is extremely rare. Only 15 total cases were identified out of 8 million Johnson & Johnson doses. The challenge now will be regaining public trust in the vaccine after the pause to investigate serious side effects. In the meantime, there is a surplus of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines because states have received a greater supply of doses than they have administered. Johnson & Johnson vaccine after rare cases of blood clots. Health officials are investigating 6 reports of a rare and served blood clot among female recipients of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine in the U.S., one of whom died. On April 13, 2021, the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, recommended a pause in the administration of the single-dose vaccine while the investigation takes place. Several states have already begun pausing Johnson & Johnson shots. The blood clot is called cerebral venous sinus thrombosis, CVST, and prevents blood from draining out of the brain. The condition was seen in combination with low levels of blood platelets, thrombocytopenia, which means anticoagulation medication may not be suitable to treat the blood clot. In an April 13, 2021 briefing call with reporters, said a rare immune response could potentially be activating platelets, causing the extremely rare blood clots. What we're debating is if an extremely rare side effect is proven to be linked to the vaccine. This is certainly less than the risk of blood clots from getting COVID itself. Similar infrequent events have been seen with the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, which is similar in design to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Both use adenovirus vectors, genetic pieces of the common cold that are unable to reproduce but can deliver genetic code from COVID-19 into the body. This vector may, in certain individuals, generate antibodies that interfere with platelet function and produce a condition similar to heparin-induced thrombocytopenia, which is diagnosable and treatable. The AstraZeneca vaccine has been approved for use in some countries, paused for use in others, and not yet authorized for use in the U.S. Neither the FDA nor CDC answered questions today on how the Johnson & Johnson news might affect any authorization of the AstraZeneca vaccine, deemed imminent, in an April 13, 2021 briefing with the press. Message to healthcare providers. The CDC and FDA said a key reason for the pause is to alert healthcare providers to the clotting issue, since the treatment for CVST is different from the treatment that might typically be administered for blood clots. An anticoagulant drug called heparin is used to treat blood clots, but according to the agency's statements, in this setting, administration of heparin may be dangerous, and alternative treatments need to be given. Public health experts are concerned that the reports could increase hesitancy for the millions of Americans not yet vaccinated against COVID-19. Another issue healthcare providers will need to confront. The pause will do irreparable harm to the vaccine rollout and affect people's willingness to get any vaccine. The risk-averse stance will likely cost lives and delay control of the pandemic. Important safety precaution. Vaccine safety surveillance is the best in the world. You can see that it is working because we had this signal of a concern that was detected very quickly. Safety system has not found the same clotting difficulty with the Moderna or Pfizer biotech vaccines. The rare events are only showing up now, because they appear to occur in less than 1 case per million people vaccinated. Only 15,000 people were involved in the Johnson & Johnson clinical trial, so you would not be able to detect any possible cases until the vaccine was in wide use. If you received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and experienced side effects including severe headache, leg pain, abdominal pain, or shortness of breath, contact a doctor for evaluation. Results of the investigation should be complete in a matter of days. Videos about Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and AstraZeneca. The race for COVID-19 race for vaccine manufacturers are available in the link below. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. See you on my next videos. Ma salama.